second sink this morning. We've also been trying to take calls. I'm not going to be going to the phones again until I get the thumbs up from engineering that we fixed the issue on our end. So just hang tight, everybody, and back to sinks we go in just a second. But first, it's time for another house call with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer. Yeah, that's me. This house call brought to you by WDC Kitchen and Bath Center. Just a quick little bit of info for you. Hot as it has been. Two count them, 2 ways that a tankless water heater is sized and fit to a house. The first way is what most people understand these days, and that is how many hot water faucets and fixtures you want on at the same time in order to have hot, steamy water. That's part of the sizing of a water heater to your home. The other is one that doesn't get talked about too much, and that is the region that you live in based on the average cold temperatures. Because what a hot water heater has to do, a tankless one, it has to take water from a certain level and raise it a certain number of degrees. So if the water coming into your home because of a cold snap is 10 degrees or so colder than it normally is, then your hot water heater is still raising it that same fixed number of degrees, but the top end is going to be a little lower than what you're used to on the normal day. So all I'm saying is, don't panic. If the water is warm or warmish or hot-ish, everything is fine. It's just that you're experiencing extra cold inlet water coming into your house. And, you know, the days are going to warm up here again very soon, and you will be back to hot, steamy showers once again. All right. Where did we? Okay, yeah. So I gave you my sermonette on why not to avoid a wooden sink, right? Because they can just be gorgeous. And so this is my piece of advice to everybody. This is your designer speaking, okay? Not your builder. Your builder is always going to favor the most utilitarian and easy to deal with thing. I get that. This is the designer side of being talking to you now. Whenever you're looking for something for that new thing, the new bathroom, okay? Free yourself up front, okay? Right up front when you're in the design process. This is why the design process is so important. This is why design matters most. Free yourself. You do not have to write checks when you are dreaming about a thing, okay? So let go of the checkbook. You're not writing, you're not paying any money for anything. Free yourself to dream. Explore things, okay? Explore all sorts of options along the way, including things that don't seem entirely rationally normal for you, like sinks made out of wood, or countertops made out of wood, or sinks made out of glass, or, you know, you name it. You understand where I'm going with this. Free yourself at the beginning of the design process to give yourself the most creative freedom possible. Every uber creative project that I have ever been a part of, whether it is a multi-million-dollar estate or just a, middle-class suburban tract home, every creative project that I have been assigned to design, we always start with freeing ourselves to be the most creative that is possible. It's a funnel. Of course, not everything you dream up on day one is going to end up in the house. But that one thing that you freed yourself to think about, it either does make it into the house and it's a game changer, or it led to an entire theme of other things that shifted the way you approach your house. Design matters most. Free yourself to dream. Dreaming is not the same as writing checks for, uber expensive materials or fancy things. Just free yourself. And quite often, once you get a creative thought in your head, there's more than one way to
Riverside early this morning. Dad has been arrested. Officials from Michigan and Texas say they were not told ahead of time that contaminated soil and water from the train derailment in Ohio was being sent to their states for disposal. More than 1 million gallons of toxic waste to our state, but that happened a week after it arrived. The major winter storm that's moved through Southern California has dumped a staggering 81 inches of snow at the Mountain High restaurant resort in the San Gabriel Mountains. Up to 64 inches of snow has fallen at Snow Valley in the San Bernardino Mountains. We'll check some problems on the 105 next.
WDC, my first choice in all things kitchen, bath, and bed, is having its big President's Day sale right now. President's Day is past, but the sale goes on. It's happening right now through the end of the month. And what's on sale? Well, up to 40% off home appliances. The Bosch Build Your Kitchen package, where you select 4-piece package and adjust a select financing on home appliances. 36 months for mattresses. And right now, during the President's Day sale, WDC will pay your sales tax and free local delivery with purchases over $5.99 or more. Like I always say, get your big kitchen or bath done right. You need more than just an appliance store. You need the experts I've trusted for years. WDC.
Like, you don't know.
The Century Freeway, East Freeway, Freeway southbound at Florence. Vehicles are hitting that mouth of the side, adding to that mess. It's going to be heavy and slow. Through Hysteria, 15 southbound, very crowded, continues to be slow as you make your way towards the 395. Grapevine, closed both directions still. Stay up high in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Mark Weaver. This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
At LA Fitness, there's no end to what you can try with your 3-day free pass. Sign up at startlafitness.com. From cycling to swimming, running to rowing, dunks to downward dogs, from saddle ropes to box jumps. It's all here at LA Fitness. When you join LA Fitness, it opens the door to premium amenities like basketball courts, Olympic lifting platforms, pools, and saunas. It can be your day to start fresh at LA Fitness. Get your club in the club or join online with our latest offers. From yoga to Zumba classes, cycling to our signature bodyworks classes. Your muscles might get tired, but your workouts never will. Get started at startlafitness.com with your free 3-day pass at startlafitness.com. That's startlafitness.com. Amenities vary by location. Certain amenities may be available for an additional fee. Free 3-day passes redeemable by non-members only. Other restrictions apply.
9 convenient locations, 6 great brands. Get super
Ever been big dick so badly that you call the person the next day and tell them that
you're Superstores from West Covina to the
yeah.
Cerritos Auto Square and from
Are you
Huntington
done,
Beach to
kid?
the Irvine Auto Center. You'll find a North Reed Superstore near you. Ford, Lincoln, Hyundai, Genesis, Volkswagen, and Honda. We have your favorite new models in stock. Plus, get total peace of mind when you purchase. Thanks to our exclusive price protection guarantee. Which states, if you can find the same new vehicle for less within 5 days, North Reed will pay you the difference like the #1 2020. Bill and Kathleen showcasing the way they have run this company with love and dedication to their employees and creating their motto, revolutionizing the home improvement industry one customer at a time while changing the lives of their employees for the better. People make the difference. American Vision Windows is built around a team of home improvement experts who take great pride in their work, and the energy-saving advice they provide is priceless. American Vision Windows makes sure that all their installers are AAMA certified. Now, due to the rising energy costs, many people are turning to dual-pane, energy-efficient windows to reduce their utility bill. If you have wood, aluminum, or even vinyl windows and enjoy saving money, plus you love the feeling of +4 free expert installation. For all offers, call or see website for details.
There should be like
offer expires 2/28.
try to hypothetical facts about what pain
Do you have coins,
can we
jewelry, or
cause
precious
from the
metals
bottom
you're looking
up
to
to
sell for a top dollar? Sue DeGenova, CEO
I just want people to know it. Why? Because people come in the next day. So this way, I'll save you and me a call.
I just wasn't comfortable. I took it down to tangible investment, and they offered me over $6,000. That store is absolutely awesome. Stores like these are why Tangible Investments has become America's top dealer in precious metals, jewelry, and collectibles, and why Sil has been featured on CNBC and quoted on the front page of the Wall Street Journal.
Snap. My name is the CEO of
And we're
Google.
back.
I suck.
Oh,
Sorry,
TFI, AM 640,
Why?
live everywhere.
Did you ever see
Kinda,
that?
on the iHeartRadio app. The
Looked like
joy
a
of
scared
live
turtle.
radio. You know what? When you are
That
live
motherfucker
radio,
looked
24/7,
I just watched
365,
him.
there are days
and I was like,
when
everyone knows the
so
earphones
I should
can
try
hear
a phone call.
everything.
It's going to
Not
take
by
me a second
default.
here because I've got to get this board reset as well.
Really? Yeah.
So
He said I need to confirm
I'm just
that.
telling you guys, it's been a morning here
Like a
with
G.
our engineering, just our stuff. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're
Really?
going to
Yeah.
continue on with syncs here because it's going to take me a couple of minutes to. We may have fixed the phone issue, but it's going to take me a second to reset my equipment here. So let's move on with syncs, and then at the top of the hour, we're going to try to go back to the phones. Yeah, phones. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't tell it that. Maybe I shouldn't tell the equipment that we're going to go back. Maybe it's and it's like, oh hell no. Yeah. So we'll give it a try. All right. Let's talk about styles of syncs for a few minutes here, shall we?
That was like the first time I actually listened to
Overmount sinks. What is an overmount sink? An overmount sink is my least favorite style of sink, period. Forever, always has been, always will be. End of discussion. Now, does that mean that you're terrible if you have an overmount sink? No. I just want you to know that the overmount sink was not developed for beautiful ease of use in your kitchen or your bathroom. It was simply developed as a way for builders to save money on the building process. As I have to break that news to you so often about so many things that are connected to the average home, right? An overmount sink is a sink that has its, sometimes it's called self-rimming. It has its own lip, right? So what it means is that whatever your countertop, the little silicone around the edge, boom, that, you're finished, okay? The problem is, yeah, you're finished, but now instead of the counters being easy to just wipe whatever water or stuff has gotten on the counter, just wipe it right into the sink, you can't because the lip of the sink is in the way. Now, some manufacturers have gone out of their way to make sinks very flowery and kind of carved up and make that overmount lip look all fancy like it was supposed to be there from day one. But the reality is that the overmount sinks, number one, they're not as dramatic as a vessel sink, which sits above the countertop, and they're not as practical as an undermount sink. And so what are we left with? Well, we're left with just that. They're economical because you don't have to spend money on your counter material to get its edge. See, if you undermount a sink, if you put a sink underneath the counter, and then the countertop wraps into it, well, then you've got some expense in dealing with the way the counter. If you're these days going with solid surface countertop material, then that's not a problem because your fabricators are going to cut out an opening for your sink and bevel and smooth and finish that return down into the sink. No sense in having a solid surface stone or quartz countertop and an overmount sink that they do in ceramic tile because you've got to have what we call quarter round ceramic tiles and it has to be done well and overseeing them. It means that you've got to take those little quarter round pieces and cut them up into little half-inch slices. And quite honestly, if the look is sort of rustic Spanish or Mexican style look or two or three other styles that I can think of, if that's the look, fine. But your tile person has to really know what they're doing because now they are responsible for really the visual impact of that thing. And if they don't know what they're doing, especially with a rounded surface, then stay away from that. Okay. So overmount sinks, that's the economy, ease of install. In my opinion, ease of install and economy has a steep price attached to it because from the day you install it forward, you will be cussing at the fact that you can't just fully utilize counter space around your sink in an easy and accessible way. That is why the next style, undermounts, moisture, stuff, crumbs, whatever, can just be swept right into the sink seamlessly, and you don't have a bump at the edge of your most important workspace. Another option that isn't quite undermount,
but is not overmount either, is what we call integrated, and that's when the sink comes with a flat edge. Okay, it doesn't sit up above the counter, and it doesn't technically mount underneath. It meets the countertop material flush. Okay, so a sort of a wide flat edge. Sometimes it's called a tile-in sink, which I've already sort of mentioned in dealing with some other issues. A vessel sink actually can have a real practical use. If you're going to overmount a sink, you might as well put a vessel on. And I'll tell you why. If it's a bowl-shaped vessel, for instance, you can actually reclaim some counter space, because literally countertop underneath the edge of the sink is available to you. Now, I know you don't normally think in those terms, but hairbrushes, toothbrushes, combs, all sorts of stuff can sit on the counter underneath the edge of the overhang of the sink, right? Plus, they're really cool, sexy vibe and a look. So, vessel sinks, very, very popular these days. That needs a tall faucet for a vessel sink. You've got to take your faucet into consideration when you're working with a vessel sink, because you're going to be 3, 4, sometimes 6 inches above the countertop, and the faucet needs to clear the backside of that sink. They don't have overflows. Almost all of them don't have overflows. And it might mean, since the top of the sink is so high, it might mean lowering the vanity countertop down. You have a shorter vanity so that your sink is at your optimal level. All of these are things to think about in terms of a vessel sink. But usually, a vessel sink is worth its weight in gold if that's the style you're going for. All right, aprons, pedestals, and trough sinks may be your call. We'll see when we return. You're home with Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, and King Anthony.
More stimulating talk, no login required. KSI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, we got dumped on. I'm Amy King live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The LA River and other water. I'm Amy King live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The LA River and other waterways that normally flow at a trickle or are dry most of the year have been raging